Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another review. This time around, I'm going to be doing a review for Tomorrowland, which stars George Clooney, Hugh Laurie, Britt Robertson, and Rafe Cassidy. Um, okay. So before I begin, though, 10 second spoiler warning as usual for those who have yet to actually watch the movie and haven't already. Stop the video, go check it out, and come back here and watch the rest of this review. 10 second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet to actually watch the movie and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me that I never gave you a fair warning, because as usual, I did. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit sick, so please deal with the fact that I may cough once or twice throughout the video. Sorry about that, but advance warning. So yeah. So basically in this movie, you have I forgot her name already, but you have Casey, I believe was her name in the movie. You have Casey, and she's basically like, I guess what you could call a thinker or a dreamer, as they call it in the movie. Basically, there's this world called Tomorrowland that has shut down, and now this Casey character is trying to find Tomorrowland with the help of George Clooney, who portrays Frank, and this little girl who's like an android robot. And yeah, basically trying to find Tomorrowland, because if they don't find Tomorrowland and do what they need to do in Tomorrowland, the world could die, basically, end of the world situation. And yeah, so how do I say this? It was a great movie. I'm gonna say right off the bat, it's actually a really great movie in my opinion. My initial reaction, my initial thoughts to the movie was that's fantastic. It was great, fantastic. I did have a few complaints, but it's fantastic. However, I did see a couple reviews afterwards. Watching a few reviews. Nick Yakabuchi, for example, from We Live Film, Justin Watches Movies, Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns, whatever. And basically, what they said was more or less true for the negatives, and it does have its flaws, but for some of the more persistent flaws I think I saw was the fact that it was a bit too preachy, which at first I didn't notice, but looking back at it, it was a bit of a preachy film in a sense, because you do have the fact that it preaches the fact that you should be a believer and have faith and be dreaming. Not in a religious way, but you should just have fun and live your life kind of dream philosophy, if you know what I mean. So I'm looking back at it, I do find that as a negative, because me at first I wasn't really paying attention, because the thing is, this movie is mesmerizing with its spectacular visual effects, and the story is actually pretty solid. So I didn't think of it at first, but then as I kept hearing it more, I did think about it more, and I considered certain scenes. In that aspect it is a bit preachy. In this other aspect, it is also preachy, to some extent. So yeah, one of the major things I've seen many people complain about apparently is last act of the film, the last 30 minutes of the film. Many people say it's anticlimactic, and actually I actually do enjoy the ending. I do see how some people could find it a bit anticlimactic. It is a bit anticlimactic, I'm not gonna deny, but I still enjoyed the ending. Many people said that it had a great build up to that just led to nothing, and I think it did lead to something. I think it led to something, it just wasn't as spectacular as the rest of the movie. So that's it for the negatives. Now, as for the positives, which I do want to say there actually are tons of positives. I mean, you have great acting, George Clooney. Well, he's George Clooney. What else can I say? The little girl, Rafe, I believe was her name again. Rafe. Let me search it up. Yeah. I think she did really well. She was like this little android girl, and I think she did an incredible job. I think as she gets older, we will be seeing a bit more of her. Rafe Cassidy, she portrayed Athena, and I think she did a really great job. Britt Robertson in her role, she was really well. In her role, apparently she was also in The Longest Ride. I didn't see that, and many people hated that movie and said that she was a horrible actress in that. I mean, then again, they said that the script was terrible, but here I think she regained herself. So yeah. So really well in that part too. I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty great movie. In scope of it, it was really well. I mean, yes, there are some stuff that are apparent in some aspects. For example, there's this one scene, action scene with Key, I believe, Keegan Michael Key from Key and Peele. Um, yeah, with Key and Peele, you have him and this other lady, I forget her name, and they're basically in this like small shop, basically like nerd shop. I guess you could say, has Star Wars memorabilia, has Marvel memorabilia, and I say this specifically because there's a lot of references to Star Wars, and then there's a shit ton of references to like a lot of Marvel properties. So Disney's kind of shoving it in our faces, the fact and bragging about the fact that they own Marvel, they own and they own Star Wars. So at that point, it kind of does get a little bit full of itself. Disney aspect, Disney wise. So yeah, I mean, you can't tell that Disney had a huge part in this movie. I think to some degree that did affect the directing aspect of the movie, I want to say, but overall, it's still a pretty great movie. Really solid script in my opinion. Really solid acting. Again, George Clooney, one of the best actors out there. Britt Robertson, she was pretty good. Hugh Laurie in his small role, he was pretty good. Raphael Cassidy, pretty good. Keegan Michael Key, sorry, pretty funny action scene, I have to say. Pretty good action scene to say the least. Yeah, so it did have some action scenes. The action scenes are actually pretty good. And there's this actually one guy, like the secret agent guy. I don't know his name actually. The guy who portrayed him. Michael Giacchino. I want to say, yeah, that's what it says here. Michael Giacchino. I don't know. Apparently that's his name. I don't know. Whatever. There's this one secret agent guy. Really funny. I thought for a second it was Jim Carrey, but like that's not Jim Carrey. But the guy just is acting like Jim Carrey from like The Mask or Ace Ventura or something like that. I don't know. It just looked really weird, but it looked pretty funny. So it does have a pretty decent dose of comedy. So yeah, you could tell Disney had a huge hand in this movie. You can't tell for sure. Upon the second viewing, which I did. I did do 2 viewings of this movie. You could tell that they had a huge impact on this movie. And I think to some extent that did direct the directing style of it, because Brad Bird, he is a pretty good director. If you know what he's done, he's done Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and he's also done The Incredibles. So the fact that this isn't one of his strongest movies is kind of a letdown. But yeah, I mean, originally I was gonna give this movie a higher grade. But I think after discussing the negatives and all that, at the end, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I have to give this a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty good movie. I would have given it a higher rate, but then mixing the fact that Disney more or less did a shit ton of promotion like throughout 5 scenes in it. There wasn't really that much of the actual Tomorrowland, which was I don't want to say I was upset about it, but I was a bit disappointed on it. So whatever. So yeah, it definitely does have its flaws, and in that aspect, it is a bit of a disappointment because this is an original movie, and the fact that it kind of, I don't want to say led up to nothing, because it did have something something, but in this grand scope of sequels, reboots, remakes, and whatever, prequels and whatnot, we get this original movie, and it's kind of just there. It's kind of just good. It's kind of upsetting. So yeah. So yeah, again, 7 out of 10 is what I have to give this movie, Tomorrowland. And yeah, that's basically it for this review. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. Comment down below on your thoughts on the movie. Have you seen it? And if not, why not? And if you have, what are your thoughts on it? Comment all that down below. Let me know. Aside from that, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.